And the advertising companies which you employ consistently emphasize the importance of aspirational brand images, particularly for young smokers. How do you develop and maintain such brand images, and how will you do it after a ban on advertising is introduced?
Problem arising from, to pick up on what Mr. Wilson said, arising from advertising bans is indeed not only what you now mentioned, but another reason why we advertise. We advertise for three reasons: to strengthen brand loyalty, to get smokers of other brands to switch to ours, and thirdly, and this is what I'm referring to now, to inform about products. And coming back to the discussion we had last time about quote-unquote safer cigarettes, new technology products that we would like to market in the sense of explaining potential health benefits to smokers, which we discussed last time and maybe we'll go into again. We will certainly no longer be able to do that if advertising is banned altogether. So I think the focus cannot only be on this one side of advertising, but must also include this information aspect, which I think, and probably my colleagues would agree, is a very important factor here, especially with a view to the health concerns we're discussing.
Is all your marketing and advertising activity, all your large and powerful companies directed only here? Or is some of it overseas? And if it is, do you still follow the code of advertising practice which protects us in this country, or do you feel freer to advertise in the way that you wish?
We advertise according to our internal code that I've referred to, in addition to voluntary agreements or other requirements in any given market. There are two types of brands. One is a global brand, such as our brand Camel, another is a local brand. Now, advertising may be tailored to local environments. Coming back to the issue of female smokers, I think that, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, just stating it as at least my interpretation of what I know, that female smoking tends to be a reflection of growing emancipation of women in their given society. I'm an historian by training. The suffragettes in this country smoked. It was a sign of their emancipating themselves from the male yoke, if you like, by taking up a habit that was characterized or was seen as something only for men. Now, I don't think they were exposed to a lot of advertising. Obviously, on the issue of advertising bans, we may not find an agreement. As I've said before, advertising bans from a public health point of view might be even counterproductive if we cannot communicate about certain types of products that address health issues. Advertising, to my knowledge, does not lead to anyone taking up smoking. The evidence just is not there. I don't think we specifically address certain products or product categories at certain income brackets. It's all about choice. You have a market where the consumer, the adult consumer, is free to choose between a range of products that differentiate themselves amongst each other in one way through the price. He will choose what relative part of his disposable income he will spend on cigarettes or anything else for that matter is his decision.
We all know, anyone who lives near a school or walks through a town centre sees groups of young underage smokers. And I find that very depressing, actually. So where are, they getting these cigarettes from? Now, one of the areas is that papers submitted to us by the advertising agencies make it plain that the importance of independent retailers to your distribution network. And research has consistently suggested that most child smokers buy their cigarettes from this source, the local store, corner shop. Could I ask all of you, what steps you're taking to stop this trade, which is illegal?
I think, if I may,
yeah.
the example or the aspect that you're mentioning, the retailers, is a perfect illustration of the fact that this is a very complex and difficult societal problem. And there are many links and many agents, if you like, involved. And we will do what we can. I mean, I'm just as appalled as you are personally when I see underage people smoke. I have children. I don't want them to smoke. Maybe we've not done enough in the past. Maybe no one can ever do enough. But we certainly want to offer whatever we can contribute to jointly work at solving this problem. But we cannot do it alone. But for my company, I can tell you, our aim, our objective is zero consumption among minors. End of story.
Would you disown the comments which have been made to us by Forrest regarding the activities of trading standards officers using children to test whether retailers sell cigarettes to children, and their view that this was a form of entrapment? Would you disassociate yourselves from that view?
I concur with what my colleagues have said. It is up to authorities to make sure existing laws are enforced. Whatever means they then use to achieve this, they must decide. I would also say it should be applied to any age-restricted activity or product, obviously. What I would want to add is that we've covered the retail, we've covered advertising, we're now covering this particular issue. We should remember, last time we spoke a lot about the sort of silver bullet approach in finding the one substance that may cause disease or not in cigarette smoke. I think the same problem that we face there we have here. We should not think that if we, which my company suggested in our submission, raise the minimum age to 18, we can all sit back and say the problem is solved. There is no silver bullet. It's a combination of many measures that we jointly must conceive and work on and enforce and practice. And that's what I would say.
What potential do you think there is at the moment for producing what might be, given the encapsulation I've said, what potential do you think there is for developing a genuinely safer cigarette?
I'm grateful for the opportunity, yes. I think, coming back to a few things I've said,
you have a particular
there
product.
Exactly. There are, if you like, at least three approaches. One is the general tar reduction, general yield reduction that we've discussed at length, which certainly still seems to make a lot of sense. Another is the specific reduction of individual compounds, problematic, but we are working on that too. We have a product in the tobacco burning cigarette field that addresses specifically certain compounds that are seen critically in the vapor phase of the smoke. This is done by combining a low nitrate tobacco blend with a special carbon filter. And in addition, we have, which I explained last time, products, or a product in particular, doesn't even burn the tobacco anymore, but only heats it, thereby basically eliminating all the quote-unquote bad stuff that results from the combustion process. We believe very strongly that this is a route further to pursue. We've put a lot of money and manpower and work into it. We have marketed these. We have not marketed them successfully. One reason being that we were not able to communicate to the consumer what the fact that this product is different means to him. There are social aspects connected with smoking, there are cosmetic concerns connected with smoking, but at the end of the day, what's really important to the smoker are the health aspects. And as long as we're not able then to explain to him this product is different, and that means that potentially it can reduce the risk, it's difficult to get him to switch in a number that is significant from a public health point of view. In addition, it would also obviously help to give him a financial incentive to switch, i.e. for us to be able to price these competitively. And this is basically the message that we would like to leave with the committee. And I'm more than happy, since I hear that my colleagues, at least BAT and Philip Morris, have had the opportunity to host the committee to explain these things in more detail, and certainly better than I can, since I'm not a scientist. I'm more than happy to invite the committee to take that opportunity with us too, and I would be delighted to get a scientist over here who can take you through these developments.